Commanders fans, not doing a lot tonight as I usually do the day after the game, like Tell the Truth Monday or Victory Monday. And feels weird not having a Victory Monday or Victory Friday for the second week in a row. It's an odd feeling, guys. And I do see some people panicking and whatnot and going crazy because we've lost 2 games in a row. I just want to help you guys not jump off the ledge as well. Just a therapy session for us right now. Just a recalibration and recoup situation. I wanted to go live. I just don't have a lot of time right now. But yeah, we're gonna be fine, guys. We're gonna be fine. We play the Cowboys, even though that game's gonna be a little bit closer than what I thought, because Jayden's still not 100%. He's not 100%. Like he's struggling to throw the ball downfield. That is the most concerning thing, is that he's really struggling to throw the ball downfield. Now, it was a 4-day span or a 4-day window that he had to recover from the Steelers game, which was a really physical game. So that didn't help. And then I think the broadcast or something said that he said he was going to be wincing during the game when he was throwing down the field and stuff like that. So he's clearly still in pain. He's not 100%. He probably will not be 100% for the rest of the season. There's just not a lot of time for him to really take breaks and heal, except for this 10-day stretch in the bye week. And you just look at some of the numbers, man. So throws of 10 yards past the line of scrimmage last night, he was 1 for 5 for 10 yards and 1 interception. He didn't even see Eckler when Eckler was wide open. He ran for 3 yards in the first half. Then he underthrew Noah Brown. He underthrew Olamide. The Reed Blankenship interception was awful. So, I mean, it's okay to critique Jayden. He's a rookie. And this was his first rookie-like game. This was his first rookie-like game. We've seen Bo Nix struggle and look awful. We've seen Caleb look awful for the past couple of weeks. We saw Spencer Rattler go out there on Thursday Night Football and look awful. So this was the first time we've gotten a dose of seeing our quarterback look like an actual rookie. And some people are just not able to, cope or realize that he's a rookie. He's going to have ups and downs. Like, not every game is going to be a Jaden Houdini game or a perfect game. And it may not be that way for the rest of the season, too. I mean, this Dallas game may be an ugly win, kind of like it was supposed to be last night, where, if we would have just kicked the field goal instead of going for 2, maybe we would have won, 13-12 at the time or something? What was the score? But, we would have been up by 1, and it would have been an uphill battle. But the Eagles were struggling to move the football, too. I think the only reason why they even scored on the next possession is just a mental thing, because we didn't make the 4th down conversion, and the defense had to go back out there again after helping us out and getting stops. So it was only so much the defense could take. And Cliff's got to be better. The offensive line got whooped. I'm gonna go over some PFF numbers as well, studs and duds, and go over that real quick and then wrap it up. But man, yeah, it was rough watching it. It was. Jayden, he had a rough game. It was probably his worst game of his career, and it was tough seeing it on a national TV stage against a divisional opponent. The biggest game that we've had in years. Probably the biggest divisional game that we've had. I know we beat them on Monday Night Football with Heineke, but yeah, I mean, we haven't had competitive games where both teams have been over 500. It's the first time in a long time since that has happened. But once again, I believe that we will be fine, and I think 11 wins is still the minimum for me, and I really believe we're going to be fine. We got to get back to running the football, establish the run, RPOs. Jayden's got to connect with Terry. Terry cannot have 1 or 2 targets. I don't give a crap about Quinyon Mitchell. I still feel like Terry's going to get the best of him in the next game, but Terry's got to get more targets, and Noah Brown got more snaps than Terry. But let's go to a more positive note here before I go on a tangent about the negative things here. So Mikey Sainristil, man, I think Adam Peters made a great decision getting Mikey Sainristil in the second round, making that trade with the Eagles. I can't remember if that pick was because of the trade that we moved up. We ended up getting Mikey Sainristil. I believe it was. We ended up getting Mikey Sainristil and Ben Sinnott. Mikey Sainristil last night against the Eagles only allowed 2 catches on 5 targets, 31 receiving yards. All of them were accounted for by A.J. Brown, and he only let A.J. Brown get 31 catches. 31 receiving yards. And also there was that phantom terrible penalty that they called on Mikey. And he had a 90.0 PFF coverage grade. I mean, that is elite and locked out by Mikey Sainristil. He had the nice deflected pass on Jahan Dotson. He had a nice deflection against A.J. Brown in the end zone, which was a big play where we saw last year both games, we saw what A.J. Brown did to Emmanuel Forbes. And I'm not going to pick on Emmanuel Forbes, but we've seen what A.J. Brown has done to many corners in this league, especially in the end zone, just big boying and big bodying guys. And Mikey's a slim guy. It's not like he's a big fella compared to A.J. Brown, but he held his own. It's heart over height. You know what Nick Saban said about Mikey Sainristil, that he could pound for pound be the best player. I think Chris Sims said that he may be the best nickel corner in the next couple of years. I think it was another draft scout talk, just raving about Mikey Sainristil. We saw what he did in college at Michigan, and he was just locked down. I believe he had an interception in the championship game or a bowl game. And he just makes plays, man. He has a knack for making plays and being there. Just the physicality he had last night. He was there, man. He was sticking with guys, mirroring guys, being physical. He was everywhere last night. He really was. He was balling, man. So I got to give him credit and Adam Peters credit for drafting Mikey Sainristil. Mikey Sainristil, man, I think they're going to keep him on the outside. If he's going to play like that, Ben St. Juste was on the bench. They had Mike Davis out there taking snaps. And I probably will pull up the snap count too, but Mikey Sainristil was balling, man. So I feel like I know when Marshawn comes back, they may have Marshawn on the outside, and then not may have. Marshawn is definitely going to be on the outside. Excuse me, and then Mikey may still stay on the outside instead of going back to the inside and being a slot corner, and Noah I will stay in the slot. I think that's what they may do. That may be the corner rotation. Ben St. Juste is a rotational corner. Emmanuel Forbes will suit up here and there, I guess. And then Mike Davis, I guess he's back in the mix. I guess he's back in the fold. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think Mikey is, he struggled a little bit with being outside. I know Jamar Chasey gave him that big touchdown on Monday Night Football. But ever since then, he's really improved. And he's gotten better each game. So Mikey's a dog, man. He's playing good football. And to do that against A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and other guys on that Eagles roster against a solid quarterback in Jalen Hurts, man, that speaks volumes, man. Speaks volumes. So we got one of Mikey, man. We got a dog. We got a dog in Mikey, man. Pound for sure. Other guys who did not play too well, Frankie Louvu graded pretty well per PFF with a 70.3. Michael Davis, 67.3. Ben St. Juste with a 66.2. He barely played, though. Bobby Wagner with a 64.6. F.A. Obata, 63.8. Sheldon Day, 57.4. Quan Martin, 55.9. He had that forced fumble. That was good. Noah I, 55.1. Jeremy Chin, I thought he played well for the first three quarters, 53.3. Cleveland Farrell, 40.3. Dante Fowler was nowhere to be found, 33.7 PFF grade. Fedarian Mathis with a 30.1 PFF grade. Johnny Jerzon Newton with a 28.7 PFF grade, which is awful. And then Percy Butler with a 27.7 PFF grade. So the rookies look like rookies. Other than Mikey, the rookies look like rookies. Brandon Coleman was awful. Excuse me, awful last night. He was awful. He was bad. And, I think Brandon Coleman so far he's been solid for the most part. But you look at his grade last night, he was a 27.4. He gave up 2 sacks last night. 27.4 is really bad. Nick Allegretti had a 16.7 PFF pass blocking grade. And Sam Cosmi had a 13.0 PFF pass blocking grade as well. So, that's really, really bad. Andrew Island was a 63.1. Tyler Biotis was a 74.3. Jalen Carter had a good game, unfortunately. Josh Sweat got a sack, but Brandon Coleman got dominated. He struggled with his strength and everything, moving his feet. He just struggled. It was a rookie type of game for him. And not every game he's going to dominate, but Cornelius Lucas coming back or being back, if Brandon Coleman keeps it up against Dallas and he plays like that and gives up sacks and pressures, then you may have to consider going back to Cornelius Lucas. And they may think about going back to the rotation. I'm not the biggest fan of the rotation. I feel like you should just pick one guy and stick with it. But hey, it was working, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If Cornelius Lucas really is healthy, then you probably have to throw him back in there, man. You probably have to throw him back in there and do that rotation. Brandon Coleman, he may start, but Cornelius Lucas might fool around and get the majority of the snaps between the two. So Brandon Coleman's got to play better, man. He's got to be better. You can't have a 27.4 PFF grade and give up pressures and get dominated and bullied. I know a lot of people are saying that he should be a guard, but I'd say give him a chance, see what happens. But we're in playoff contention right now. We're in playoff contention, so you got to put the best guy out there, whether it's Cornelius or Brandon. You got to choose one. I feel like in the month of December coming up with this stretch, I think you got to choose one. Zach Ertz had an 85.1. He had a good game. I thought he played well. He did play well. Austin Eckler played well. He had 8 catches for like 87 yards. He played really well. B-Rob played well too, man. I thought we should have ran the ball more. That's one of the gripes that I had with Cliff Kingsbury. Now, it wasn't like a Eric Bieniemy type of, type of game where we just didn't run the ball at all. But I did think there was opportunities when the game was really close, when we had the lead, that, we could have ran the football a little bit more. And, he's 16 carries for 63 yards. I thought he still could have ran the ball more than that, honestly. You got to get Terry the football, and the fourth down call was bad. No urgency on that last touchdown drive at all. It was just confusing and weird. Running the football, they just waved the white flag. That was awful. Some of the design runs were not working at all up the middle. You got to run to the outside with Jayden. You just have to. So, yeah, I mean, just a nasty taste for sure. Just recapping this game and kind of looking back at some of the studs and duds here. And Terry was not in on the last drive at all. That was terrible. So, I mean, we got to pick our heads up, guys. We got to pick our heads up. But like I said, the defense did a good job for the first three quarters. But you can't, like, if Jake Elliott did miss kicks, like, if he would have made some kicks, maybe it would have been uglier than what it was. But, you cannot, like, if the defense is going to hold up like that, the offense has to show up. And I'm not panicking because the offense had a solid showing against the Steelers. They had a good showing against the Giants. They had good spurts against the Bears. It just has not been consistent ever since the rib injury. Maybe the Giants game was a little bit more consistent, but the Giants are terrible, So, but did I already say the stat where Jayden's numbers before the rib injury? So before the rib injury, he had a 75.3% completion rated, 75.3% completion rating, completion percentage, 107.1 quarterback rating, 0.28 EPA per drop back, and 8.5 yards per attempt before the rib injury. They're talking about Jayden Daniels. Then after the rib injury, 59.5% completion percentage, 89.6 quarterback rating. So it went from 75 to 59, and then the quarterback rating went from 107 to 89, and then 8.5 yards per attempt to 7.4 yards per attempt after the rib injury. So the rib injury definitely is hampering him for sure. It really is. And he's going to have to stick it out for these last couple games. I know Mariota, he can come in a pinch, but I wouldn't even put Mariota in it right now. Unless it really does get bad, it's like, hey, bro, like you're not playing like Jayden Daniels. You're not turned up like Jayden Daniels. And we don't want to put our franchise quarterback out there to hurt himself even more. So I don't think it's going to get to that point, but we got to take care of business against Dallas and Tennessee coming up. So, see if there's any notes that I had. Excuse me. Before I do wrap it up here. Yeah, that's about it, man. Just that fourth down call was rough, and then the two plays before that where we just ran up the middle and got stuffed. Back-to-back plays. And then going for it on that fourth down was a backbreaker. It really was. It was a backbreaker, So, De'Ami Brown would have dropped. That was awful. We had a delay a game penalty, but Zane still made a field goal anyway. Brandon Coleman struggled. Mekhi Becton-Fletcher had a false start. Just look at some of my notes here from yesterday. But like I said, man, I'm not tripping over this game at all. It's a punch to the gut, but, good teams bounce back from stuff like this. Not everything's going to be peachy cream, and the Eagles already went through a rough patch where they got blown out by the Buccaneers, and they got blown out by another team, I believe, too. I can't remember who they lost to, but they went through their rough patch. This is our first time going through a rough patch, so it's a learning experience for us right now. We got to get through it and push through, and we got to see what happens when you get punched in the mouth. What Mike Tyson say? We're about to watch Mike Tyson tonight against Jake Paul. Nobody has a plan, nobody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth or whatever. I'm butchering it, but we got to see what happens when we get punched in the mouth. Right now, we just got punched in the mouth. So how do we respond? Do we panic and stuff like fans are doing right now? Of course not. We respond and go out there and beat Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. Stop the run the football on one of the worst defenses, or if not the worst defense in the NFL, the Cowboys, at home and take care of business. That's what we got to do, man. That's what we got to do. And believe in our guy, pick our guy up and dig and get back to the stuff that we were talking about, brotherhood, camaraderie, and show people why players want to come here and requesting trades to come here and stuff like that. So that's my piece on that. Just had to get some stuff off my chest. We're not familiar with losing this year, so it's a weird, odd feeling. It really is. So It's a terrible feeling. It's not like the previous years. Like, these losses are stinging. They are stinging. So let's get out of this category. Get back on track like I believe we will. Jayden Daniels get as much treatment as possible, and then let's evaluate the left tackle spot and see what happens with Cornelius Lucas and Brandon Coleman. As always, hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy your day off on Sunday. You know, there's a lot of things that we could do that we're not going to be watching football, so enjoy that time as always. And I'm kind of excited for this Tyson fight, man. Tyson's 55 years old, so it's all for show and stuff like that anyway. I'm not going to take too much talking. But as always, Health Commanders, have a great weekend. Peace.